What's up, YouTube? We have another trade. This wild trade deadline keeps getting crazier. I don't expect it to keep getting crazier. But the Milwaukee Bucks are trading Khris Middleton, AJ Johnson, and a pick swap to the Washington Wizards for Kyle Kuzma, Patrick Baldwin Jr., and second round draft pick compensation. First thoughts on this trade is I don't like it for either team. I put out a tweet instantly after I saw the news and I said this is like an awful trade. It doesn't really make sense for both teams. I mean, Washington Wizards trading for a guy like Khris Middleton on kind of a crazy contract, and he's just been injured and he hasn't been available, so it doesn't really make too much sense to do this. But I do like the AJ Johnson pickup. AJ Johnson was the 23rd pick in the 2024 NBA draft. He's a rookie, hasn't really been getting too much playing time, but for the Washington Wizards to keep stacking on the stacked young core that they already honestly have, I mean, Bub Carrington, Keshawn George, Alex Sarr, this team, Bilal Coulibaly, who I love a lot. Like, this is a stacked young core for the Washington Wizards, and they're just going to keep stacking. I really like getting the A.J. Johnson pick, but who knows if the Washington Wizards will be able to flip Khris Middleton. I hope they can, but we'll see if a team will even trade for him in a contender because, like I said, this guy just has not been available, and with the amount of money that he's making, I don't know if a contender will really. I don't think Khris Middleton at this point in the career, I'm just going to be honest, I don't think he moves the needle that much. If this was Khris Middleton 2 to 3 years ago, then we'd be having a different conversation. But I don't think he moves the needle like some people maybe expect at this point in his career, honestly. But the Milwaukee Bucks acquiring Kyle Kuzma, I don't think people will actually realize this, but Kyle Kuzma is having one of the worst seasons of all time for a player that gets 20 plus minutes. Like, I mean, I'll show you guys a little bit later in the video, but Kyle Kuzma has awful shooting splits. I mean, the stats are just atrocious. I'll show you guys right now. But it's awful. Let's just say that. But I mean, honestly, I don't hate the trade for the Wizards, but I don't love it for the Milwaukee Bucks. I'll just say that. And then we have a graphic here. Kyle Kuzma joins Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard in Milwaukee. Big three graphic. You know they always do this. I don't think this is a big three at all. I don't think Kyle Kuzma is good enough to be put in the big three graphic, at least not this season. I mean, this guy, let's just show you. Let me just show you. I mean, dude, look at these shooting splits. 42% from the field, 28% from three, and 60% from the free throw line. I can't remember. I put out a tweet. I said, I mean, this is probably the worst shooting splits I've ever seen. This is what I said. 42, 28, 60 is probably, I meant to put is probably, but I don't pay for Twitter, so I can't edit it. But 42, 28, 60 is probably the most disgusting shooting splits I've ever seen. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, both of these players are not having good seasons, but Khris Middleton, he's at the end of his career. I think he's like 34, 35. He's not the same player he was. He's been battling injuries for the last like 2 years. But Kyle Kuzma, there's no excuse. I mean, you're in the prime of your career, and to be putting up these type of stats on the worst team in the league, the Washington Wizards, I think it's just outrageous. Like, he needs to be playing better than this. This is just awful. But I mean, I don't think Kyle Kuzma is as bad as the season he's having this year. Like, I think when he goes to Milwaukee, he'll be playing better than this. I mean, you can't get much worse than this, right? Like, the only way is up. You can't get much worse than 60% from the free throw line and 28% from three. I mean, that is just so bad. That's so bad. I understand that he plays for the Washington Wizards. Sorry, my light just turned off. I understand that he plays for the Washington Wizards, but I mean, there's just no excuse for 60% from the free throw line and 28% from three. I mean, if Kyle Kuzma can get back to that Laker Kuzma or even the Washington Wizards Kuzma, I think last year was actually his best season of his career. If he could just get back to that for the Milwaukee Bucks, then I really do like the trade. But you're banking on that. And at the moment, I'm just saying, like, his current play, this is not a good trade for his current play. But, I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks must know something I don't because, I mean, they're just banking on him getting back to what he was last year, and hopefully he can. I want to talk a little bit more about how bad Kyle Kuzma's season has been this year, though. Earlier in the video, I said this guy is having one of the worst NBA seasons we've ever seen from a player that gets as many minutes as he does. This guy's getting 28 minutes per game. But shout out to this Twitter user right here. I follow him. He makes pretty good sports content. Make sure you guys go give him a follow. But he said it's hard to describe how bad Kuzma has been this season, and honestly, I wouldn't put it any differently. I'm not too big on advanced stats, but I know like what a lot of these mean, but not like every single thing. I'm gonna just be honest, but I know that 48% true shooting is completely awful. Anything below 50 is just so fucking bad, and Kyle Kuzma has been that bad. 48.5% true shooting is awful. I want to say anything above like 60 is considered very good, if not elite. But I already went over the shooting splits. I mean, 28% on 5 3-point attempts a game, awful. And we know the free throw shooting is so bad. And on-off percentage, I believe that's just basically plus minus. And he's, like, I think bottom of the league when it comes to that. I know he plays for the Washington Wizards, so I'm not going to get too much into that. But, I mean, still, I mean, these stats from Kyle Kuzma are awful. And I just really wanted to show that this guy is legitimately having such an awful season. Like I said, I think we just got to see. We got to see with Kyle Kuzma. I mean, you're banking, like I said, you're banking on him getting back to what he's been previously. And this year he's just been awful. But like I said, the Washington Wizards, I'm very excited. I hope the Washington Wizards can land a top 3 pick, maybe get in a Cooper Flag, a Dylan Harper, or an Ace Bailey. And this young core is going to be a problem. I mean, Bilal Coulibaly and Alex are probably the two most young players I'm excited about for this team right now. But I do love me some Bub Carrington and Keyshawn George too. But if you add a Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, or a Cooper Flag to a Bilal Coulibaly and Alex R, I mean, that's a big 3 moving forward that I really, really do love. Alex R probably going to win Rookie of the Year. I know his offensive game, some people want some more from his offensive game, but Bilal Coulibaly is a player I love, and I think he's going to be very, very good. He already is very, very good, but I think this guy has all-star potential, Bilal Coulibaly. If you don't know who Bilal Coulibaly is, make sure you watch some more Washington Wizards game and you'll know who I'm talking about. But that's really going to do it for the rest of this trade. Let me know what you guys think about this trade. Just a pretty interesting one, honestly. I wasn't really expecting this. Well, we received some tweets like last night that this could be a possibility, so I guess I kind of did, but I don't know. Khris Middleton's low-key a Milwaukee legend. I mean, this guy... Oh, Patrick Baldwin Jr., the player of the Washington Wizards, also traded with Kyle Kuzma to Milwaukee, is also a Milwaukee native. But Khris Middleton, I mean, this guy won a championship there. I mean, he's probably going to get his jersey retired, honestly. I mean, the guy was there for what, like 12 years? 10 to 12 years? And won a championship there, was a key reason they won the championship. I mean, this guy did all that he could for that team, and they won. But let me know what you guys think down below. I'm kind of just rambling now. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.